says, "This is my last resort." Suffocation, no breathing.
Johnny.
Shit when they change the words.
I left that in there for you guys. Do you not know the song?
You should have been in a band.
I have no idea.
I wasn't a band.
What's
Just
the
got
band
the 9 circles there.
9 circles. What's the significance of 9 circles?
It was a Buddhist thing. It was more when you hit your 9th circle, you become enlightened.
Oh, the circles of
Did you stop
enlightenment.
at 7?
There you go. 9. Listen, I know all about 9 circles.
Is that an actual band? So where did you find the music for that?
Back in that archives, they were back on, what do you call that thing in my jig? What do you call it? SoundCloud.
I've stopped.
It was actually, we were kind of before that thing we called YouTube. You heard of it?
Nah, haven't heard of that thing.
I've heard you being called a tube at the same time.
You want to go outside?
It's too cold.
It's too cold.
Anyway,
Let's get right
back
into it.
So what's this one about?
Today-
This episode?
All about customers.
What's the big
Lifeblood
one?
of any business.
Yep.
And that's where we're going to start.
Well, I've got a question on that. I would ask you, what does a good client look like?
Jeez.
You take that one, I
So
definitely.
this is for everybody. You need to think about it.
Yeah, so it's not that easy because a good client, I mean, if I was selling shirts, and let's just say I was selling blue shirts, I would say my target demographic would be any man that needs to wear a shirt. That's not good enough. You need to be more specific. So what a good client really looks like is you need to understand a couple of things when you look at what a good client looks like. You need to be able to sketch him and say, a good client to me is obviously somebody that values what you do and is able to pay on time and how you charge him. But when I talk about what does a good client looks like, I'm a little bit more transactional. I want you to sketch what the person looks like. What's his age? Is he 30 to 40? Is it a male or is it a female? What is his hobbies? What is his interests? Okay. What pains does he have? What keeps him awake at night? How are you going to solve that for him? What does he need? What does he want?
Where do they hang out?
Where do they hang out? Who are their friends? Which clubs do they go to? Which bars do they hang out at? Which restaurants do they go to? It's your business. Okay. You need to find out how to describe what a good client looks like for you. Because I can give you my interpretation, but you'll never own it. You'll never ever do anything about it because it's my solution for your problem.
Correct.
So one of the things we want to do is you need to understand what a good client looks like. And it looks different for every sort of business. But that's just how I would start saying this is what a good client looks like, because that client needs to value what you do and he needs to be able to pay for it, for what you do. And in the way that you describe a good client, you have to bring in your payment structures, how they'll be paying you. Is it going to be cash up front, 30 days? We'll be talking a little bit about that in terms of cash flow. But if you ask me what a good client looks like, every business should have a customer profile. One, what a good client looks like, and one, what a good client doesn't look like. So somebody that you don't want to supply, both of them, that you have a good idea of who they are.
I would say on the gender front that other genders are available, and just male and female. I'm just trying to be
Politically correct.
Don't have to be, but I'm just.
Don't
trying
ask
to
me anything about that, because I'm in
Here's another question.
the
then,
dark
just to
ages.
rush on from that. Where would the clients find you?
I'm going to leave this one with you.
Would they find you?
Where do the clients find you? They need to know you're there. How
Yeah.
do you do that?
Well, they'll need to find you on things like having a website, form of your Instagram, your TikTok, your Facebook, all these platforms, even LinkedIn. Have a LinkedIn profile because that's where business to business people hang out. So that's where you can share ideas. But one of the things where I think works, and it's actually at the very start of your journey, you have to be cost effective in your approach. I would say flyers. Flyers are a great way.
Controversial, but
Yeah.
Still
definitely out
work.
there.
Flyers definitely still work.
I mean, I call it back to basics. So we still use flyer runs, but we do it in the right way.
There is a bit of a science to it, yeah.
Yeah, there is. Do not deliver your flyers at the same time Royal Mail's delivering the flyers. That's just
Or
ridiculous.
they're mail, yeah.
I mean, you've had experiences of delivering flyers, haven't
Yeah. Like I had like when I started getting the property, I would go around and do them myself. So I did 1,000, a run of 1,000, and it gets me a chance out and about, see the streets, the houses in the streets and all that. And I got 4 phone calls from that 1,000, which was awesome.
you? Oh,
So I've took that ratio and I've went and got 15,000 printed. And then I gave them to the Herald and got fuck all. Not a single phone call. And that's because, as I learned, they just go in middle of the paper with everybody else's flyers and junk mail, and the first thing that you do obviously is take all that out and throw it in the bin and then read the paper. So that was mistake number one I made that I had to learn from.
I would say be outside the box, and be outside the box with any ideas you have on trying to find a customer.
Did we say bandit signs?
Listen, if you can get away with that.
What is a bandit sign for the uneducated around the table?
I'll let Johnny answer
AKA
that.
me.
Don't say who I am. Bandit signs are just pop-up banners that can go on lampposts, roundabouts. I mean, it's a grey area. Maybe a dark grey area.
Just for
However, it gets brand awareness. And sometimes when you're putting bandit signs up, if you put them in the most obvious places where it's like, they must have got permission to put that there. 9 times out of 10, they stay longer because nobody wants to take it down because they feel that you have had permission for that.
So,
how would you, I mean, I don't know, you've obviously spoke to somebody that might know, but
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the kind of legal criteria on a bandit sign then with the councils?
Well, I'll come back to that one. Can you incriminate yourself here?
No, it's just because obviously some,
No, I mean, legally what you can have is you can have a removable sign up for... So, for instance, if you were a tradesman or... if you're a tradesman, let's look at that one. You can have a sign outside one of the jobs that you're doing for 7 days. Once you're doing the job and you can have it there for 7 days after, the reason why they say 7 days roughly is because the time the complaint goes in for a sign being there, it takes a few days to process and then someone to go out to the site to pick up the sign. Okay. Chances are when they pick up the sign, you ain't getting it back. So you just have to be clever, but you can put stuff on trailers, park at the roadside, as long as it's removable, but you will get about 3 to 4 days with that.
And that goes with livery on your car or your work vehicle if you're going to buy something to do work with. You can get all that liveried up, get some graphics on it.
Well, they reckon, I
Great
think
tool.
the statistics was it about 3,000 times a day your vehicle's seen. So
use
you've
it.
got a walking, driving advert there. Not necessarily walking, unless you're wearing your branded clothing, which is great. But driving around 3,000 times, they reckon on average your vehicle's looked at. So make sure it's bright. Make sure you've got the right brand in there. But that'll come in later on down the line in the podcast.
So what we're talking about is creating awareness,
Yep.
and generating interest around your business, so that you can create a desire for people to take action.
And that's right. That's a marketing funnel.
Yeah, that's really a marketing funnel. And if you start off, you could look at things like newspapers, television. I just want to ask, which one of you two watches TV?
Yeah, but not in a startup business. I didn't.
Exactly. So
Didn't have the
that
time.
disqualifies it straight away. Yellow Pages, for those of us of a certain age, doesn't exist anymore, and it's rubbish. Aggregator sites.
Well, I'll come back on that one because at one point, Yale.com was a massive part for people in business. However, things evolve, things change.
That's it.
So you always have to keep your eye on the ball. What's working, what's not working in advertising to get that new customer.
You guys have said flyers, the social media aspect, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's all about getting you out there and getting you known. One of the maybe lesser known ones, networking, local business community, other business owners.
It's massive,
that understand
actually.
that.
Yeah.
Because when you tell them about your ideal customers, you will be talking about the pain that your ideal customers are facing, what they want, what they need, how you're going to be charging them. And they then become a sales force for you. So for a relatively low investment, you could get quite a good return on your investment. Just for you to think about, and these are questions you do need to ask yourself, is how am I going to reach those clients? Where are they going to come from? Because it's your business. What do we say at the end of, what's our sort of slogan, Johnny?
This is your world. Shape it or someone else will.
So I'm just gonna put a slight slant on it. This is your business. Work on it, or you won't have a business.
That's right. Well, work on your business, but one thing I would also say is work on yourself. You need to know, especially when you're going to networking. Network is, I can't believe I missed it as well. I wish I said networking. But it's critical in your business. You need to, the more people that you know and the more people that like you, the better chance you've got of more business. But sometimes people think it's everybody else's fault. You need to look at the best version of yourself in networking. How many people in a group of, say, 20 people genuinely like you within the first 7 seconds?
7 seconds to form an opinion.
Yeah, it is.
People buy from people, for sure. And it's funny, I was speaking to someone today actually who was asking the very question of, like, I'm pitching, why are my potential customers going to my competitors than coming to me? So we did talk about price point and a few other things, but it's just exactly what you're saying there. It may be that you're just not connecting with them, you know, in the right way, that they're going to actually buy into you and the trust and then, you know, and buy from you.
So it takes time, you would say.
It does take time, and some people take a bit more time. You know, there's certain touch points. Some say about 7 times you have to get in touch with your client before they'll look to buy from you.
Google has got an interesting statistic. They call it 4-7-11. And they believe that you need to be on 4 platforms. So whether that's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, definitely a website. Because if you think about today, if I say to you, find me a good Chinese in and around here, the first thing people do is they pick up their mobile phones and they type into Google, find me a good. So you need to pay attention to that. But that doesn't come at the start. But you need to work towards something. How do I get onto Google to be listed? And there's ways that you can do that. The 7 is people spend on average 7 hours researching you before they'll buy from you. And you need to touch a client, and that just sounded wrong, but you need to interact with a client 11 times on minimum. And that could be where you popped up, where you commented, where you shared something on your social media profile, where you did something for the community before they'll buy from you. So you move through a cycle where they meet you, they have to get to know you in order to like you before they trust you. And I think when you start your business, you want to go from meeting somebody to having them trusting you implicitly, instantaneously. And it doesn't work like that because you're looking for client lifetime value. And Johnny, what's the difference between a client and a customer?
Oh, because I was going to trip you up earlier on, because I did hear you saying customer a lot. We have clients. Clients see the value in you. You've created value when you have a client. That's why they keep coming back. If you have a customer, no good. It's like having a butcher's and they just keep coming back, or they keep coming in and out now and again. It's just a customer. No, you want to get to know them. You want to help them in their decision-making process and, you know, get to really know them, their name, the family. They want to get to know the butcher, perhaps. I'm just using these analogies. Whether you're selling trainers, selling meat, you want to turn a customer into a client. And by doing that, as you become more personable and you try and help them on some of their pain points and go the extra mile for them, that's how you get a client.
A good client's lifetime value, you want him not just for one purchase, but for many. And I suppose when you're a business owner, you might start off with selling one product to one client. But how do you add new products on? And how do you get those clients to buy other products from you? Those are things that you need to start thinking. And this is where that marketing funnel becomes really, really key, because people need to be aware. If I only thought that, if I just use you, if I only thought you did one type of service and you never told anybody about all the other services you do, because you're the key point of contact on a project. So you do everything. But if I only use you for electrical work, and you never spoke about the other stuff, I would never be able to sell, or you'd never be able to sell to me. Just as an example like that, look at things like that, I think would be critical.
So looking at your job offering, you know, whatever you're doing when you're starting up your business, what is your job offering? What are you giving your client? And I would go back to another point. We can ask all these questions, but what does your client actually care about? What do they care about?
That is such a good question, because it goes back to that very first thing, understanding who your client really is. Because different clients care about different things. Some clients care about price. And when you start your business, you take them. You don't get away because you need to pay mortgages. You need to do what you need to do. But a client that cares to price will run you ragged. You'll find out that client is the one that complains the most.
Yep.
You'll dominate your time and you'll make very, very little money out of him. So really do understand, what your customers care about most. And this is a process, because we live in an age of instant gratification. So some clients care about ease, some clients care about convenience, some clients care about quality. You need to figure out what your clients care about most. Doesn't matter what I say. I can give you hints and tips and we can guide you about certain things. But the better you understand your client, the better you'll be able to say, this is the one thing, 2 things, 3 things that my clients care about most. And that could then become your point of differentiation. And that could come back to what we've spoken about in a previous episode about what are your competitors not doing well? How is your product how is your product addressing their needs, their wants, their problems? So it all links back to what problem are you solving for your clients, and can they see the value?
And again, back to your previous point there about multiple things that they can buy from you, you need to learn how to upsell your products. Now, sometimes it's hard to go straight into it and say, oh, I do this, and that. It's a bit overwhelming sometimes because you have to realise what your client's wanting first. So by asking certain questions, navigating your way through it all, and then you can start upselling. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, and sometimes,
you think?
The clients just want to test you out a bit. So they might come in and buy one thing, and then that will grow into actually they're going to take everything that you've got on offer.
Yeah.
But that is just a case of building that trust that you are actually who they think you are and that you're going to do that job for them. But you can start to grow that from the start. If you've only got one offering just now, by getting that offering out there and the clients coming in, you can start to learn what other things do they need and want, and what other problems can you solve for them that you can add to your sort of toolbox of what you're selling then is a good way. But if you've only got one, just get it out there and then you can start to collect that data as you go.
And if I had to sort of throw a question out there, why do you think clients would buy from you? What would you guys say? Why do you think clients would buy from you as opposed to your competition? Because they're always going to be there.
Like we are different. But we do set ourselves out differently. But trust's the biggest thing, I think. Once they've started using the service, word of mouth is a massive one. It can work both ways though. But if you're doing a good job, then I know they'll tell more people if you're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
But they will tell people that, if somebody comes to me and says, I'm needing this service, I will always have somebody I can go and recommend. But that recommendation's coming because I've got trust with that person that I'm passing a client over to, knowing they're going to get looked after. Otherwise, it falls back on me.
Yeah, so it's reputational risk if you refer somebody on to something. You know that just going on, if you do something well, you do something badly. If you go to a restaurant, and the food's bad, would you complain? You put up your hand, call over the waitress, call over the manager, say, listen, I need to just resolve this.
I would. But I'd do it in a nice diplomatic way because it's not necessarily the waiter or the waitress's fault. But you need to be able to, you say it a lot, put the dead fish on the table. You need to give them, the errors of their ways and say, look, just looking for it to get fixed. And I'm also giving you some constructive feedback.
You know that you fall in 3%. Only 3% of people ever complain.
Yeah, I'm not one of them. If I'm being honest, I don't know.
It's really listen, if it's a restaurant, you would eat anything.
I do die.
Yeah, but you know what happens?
I'm still moving.
What happens is we go out and we go, that was a terrible meal. And we tell 12 people how terrible that experience is. But we never talk to the business owner to give them the opportunity to rectify.
See, I'm in the mindset of, I've got a business. They've got a business.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't like it being done to myself. So it's how they react to that. And that's how you can get a measure of person. They might have the wrong staff in, but that tells the owner that he needs to reshuffle the staff or train them a bit more.
And it's definitely an important part is if you have got a customer complaining, it gives you an opportunity. You should be thanking them for highlighting the fact that there's a deficiency in what you're doing
100%.
in that journey. And that's an opportunity for you then to put something in place to stop that happening again.
So would you say for the startup businesses, don't be worried if you get critiqued?
No.
It's actually a good way to learn.
I'm sorry, I'm not long starting out. This is great feedback from me.
It's own your mistakes. If I can give you any piece of advice, if you don't hear anything else, own your mistakes and say, you know what, we're busy learning, we're sorry, thank you for telling us this. This is what we're going to do to fix it. People want to be heard and they want to know that you're going to solve that problem for them. You are much more likely to get a repeat visit back. But if you start blaming, saying, well, it's not really my fault because this has happened and this has happened,
not the right way.
I don't care, not the right way.
They don't care.
Accountable. They don't care. So I think out of everything that we do, customers is probably the most important thing that you would have to write down, not necessarily for any other reason, but for yourself, understanding what your customer looks like. When you have staff, show them what a good customer looks like. How do you show up to a good customer? And that's the power of understanding customer journey, customer lifetime value, client lifetime value. That's the power in doing those things.
I think also they've been out, whether they've got their own business or employed, they're working hard for the money they're earning.
Yep.
And if they're going to be spending that with you, then there needs to be a good level of customer service, or you just won't get repeat business.
Yeah.
I think we live in an era where everybody expects service. It's expected. It's how do you differentiate that service offering? And it's about the value you create. They say that Black & Decker, the guys who sell drills, that's what they sell. They sell drills, but people buy holes. Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson sells motorcycles. People buy freedom of the open road.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's about the value you create. Be very, very clear that you are able to articulate that to your clients in a clear, concise manner. Because if you're not telling them the value that you're creating, they're making assumptions and they could be completely wrong.
I'm sure the red light districts sell the same as Black & Decker.
Come on now. That's a different
Come
podcast.
That was short.
That was one of the, in my head. That was like, that is
It's
brilliant.
hilarious, eh? We can edit it. We'll edit it.
Well,
But so for what we're going to do
So
for this
a
episode,
takeaway,
right?
yeah. So some takeaways from tonight is
Awareness.
awareness,
So this is
awareness,
your top of
interest,
your funnel.
decision,
Yep.
action. How are you going to get clients? What activities are you going to do? Top
So-
of your funnel, marketing funnel. What are you going to do to get clients, and what are you going to do to make clients aware of you?
So networking. Even
Networking.
LinkedIn's a good networking
Yeah,
platform. Social media, all the platforms are easy
Flyers.
stuff. Flyers are good. Word of mouth, Google.
yeah.
You know, if somebody's searching for your service product, are they going to find you? But yeah, flyers are a good one. And there's a good formula for advertising called ADA.
yeah.
So that's attention, interest, desire, and action. So when you're doing any kind of marketing, this is what you're trying to achieve. You want to get the interest, or the attention, sorry, then their interest. If they're not interested in your service, then obviously you won't
Yeah,
get them.
you've lost them straight
Yeah,
away. So it's
but
the
if they
first
are,
one.
then you need to create desire, have a call to action to get them. And what you're looking for is getting that conversation to try and get the sale.
Yeah.
I think the second thing is understand who a good client is. Be very, very sure what a good client is, and be even better at understanding what a good client isn't. Because you're going to get good and
Yeah.
bad, and in the beginning you have to take them both. But you want to get better at understanding what a good client
Absolutely.
is, because you are going to be time poor very, very quickly in this business. You're going to be working 7 days a week, 18-hour days, because it is your business.
Been there,
Been there, aye.
more
Been
than
there.
once.
And the third thing I would say, takeaway, is understand the value you create for your clients. Understand that, articulate it, put it in a statement, use it as a slogan, use it in your marketing collateral. Do that.
Oh, well.
Excellent.
So, what we got to look forward to for the next episode?
So next episode is a little bit more technical. The big word for it is sustainable competitive advantage.
Sounds sexy.
But really what it is what makes you different, what makes you better.
Yep.
And the precursor to that is you need to look in the mirror. And I've got this picture that I share with clients. It's a cat looking into the mirror. And what does the cat see? Does he see a lion? Or reverse it, lion looking into the mirror, does he see a cat? And what that really means is when you start your business, you need to understand what you're really, really good at, because you're going to be wearing many hats. Understand where you're weak. Understand what you need to improve, because that we don't like criticism. We don't like self-criticism. We don't like other people criticizing us. But if nobody's going to criticize you, how are you going to get better? How are you going to improve your business? How are you going to address those weaknesses for you? So we're going to be talking about a little bit of examples around that, because that'll give you more opportunities to grow your business. And it's what they call, big technical words, internal risks. It's risks that you can't control. It is within your control to change that.
Well, that's a good
Yeah.
point there.
I don't
Well,
think there's
all I
any
would-
point doing the next episode.
Well, that's it
Covered
done, eh?
everything there.
Well, all I would say, I'd leave this quote. This is your world. Shape it, or someone else will.
I'll find it
we
from
really
you.
need to find out
I'll
who
do it. I
said
will
it.
do it. I'll do it.
I said that just there.
It's nice though.
It's nice.
And
I
how
tried
about
to
this?
say it like an actor or an actor.
I think to finish, we should get a wee song out, an outro.
Outro.
No pressure, no
it's-
pressure.
it's
but hurry
all
up.
up to
aye,
you.
what's this all about?
Just
all
was
up
that
to
good
you.
coming out? Let's-
Mary had a little
That's
lamb.
not shit. That's shit. Let's have a better one.
A shit one.
No, a better one.
I'm not your performing monkey here, pal.
Nah.
Just
Right, come on, let's go. I want to finish. I
Piss
need an
in the
outro.
background. You're not paying me enough for
What
this.
about opera? You can do opera.
I don't want to do it. I had a Madonna, I had a Madonna, I had a Madonna.
That'll do.